This is the lesson 1.2 visual summary. This lesson can be a little tricky, so you may want to watch the video more than one time. We have two different recipes for a punch or a tea. So Sue's recipe calls for 2 parts of lemonade to 5 parts of tea. And Mary's calls for 3 parts of lemonade to 7 parts of tea. The problem is, I don't know what a part is. So what I'm going to do is just give us a little picture, because this is a good strategy to use when we're faced with a problem where we're not sure how to do this. So I need to break this into like 7 equal parts. So I'm just going to kind of guess. So I'd have lemonade, lemonade, tea, 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 and tea. And over here, to break this into 10 equal parts, so let's see, half. Okay, let's just assume these are all equal. So I have 3 parts that are lemonade. And then I have 7 parts tea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so now we're going to answer some questions. What are the total number of parts for Sue's recipe? So total here, she has 7 parts. And total for Mary, that's 10 parts. Now it says to write a ratio, so I know that that looks like fractional form of, and I have to get the order right, so it has to be T, and then it has to be total parts. So I'm just going to set it all up first. So T for Sue is 5. Total parts we set is 7. T for Mary is 7. Total parts 10. So it's asking which recipe will have a stronger tea taste. Well, right now I can't really compare. I'm not sure looking at those two fractions. So one way I could do it is I could make common denominators. I could use 70. So I'm just going to do that off to the side here. So 7 times 10 is 70. 5 times 10 is 50. I could do 70 here. So 10 times 7, 7 times 7, 49. 50 out of 70 would be stronger than 49 out of 70. So I know Sue's recipe has the stronger tea taste. Now, if you're not a fractions person, make them decimals. So I have a calculator here. So I'm going to do 5 divided by 7, which is approximately, I'm going to round this to 0.714. And 7/10 is 0.7, put some zeros. 0.714 is greater than 0.700. So again, it still shows us that this is stronger. Okay, now what are the total number of parts? So same question. There's 7 parts for Sue. There's 10 parts for Mary. But now they want the ratio, fractional form, lemonade to total parts. So setting it all up again. And when I look back up above at the recipe, lemonade is 2 parts. There are 7 total. Lemonade is 3 parts. There are 10 total. So again, I can do this one of 2 ways to figure out which has the stronger lemonade taste. If I like fractions, I'm going to multiply this by 10 and this by 10. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, and over here, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to multiply this by 7 and this by 7. Now I see that Mary has the stronger lemonade taste. Okay, because 21 parts out of 70 would be a stronger taste than just 20 parts out of 70. Again, I could change these into decimals. This one gives me 0.286 if I round. 3/10 is 0.3. So 0.300 is greater than 0.286. So again, Mary's would be stronger. Okay, next page. We are serving the beverages in 8-ounce cups. So this is kind of a big deal here, 8-ounce cups. You can expect to serve 20 students and 15 adults. Each person will get only 1 cup of the beverage. We're going to make enough for each person to get just 1 cup. So we're not going to make any extras. So here's our question. How many ounces should you make? So I have to think about that. Every single person gets 8 ounces. So there's 20 students. There's 15 adults. So all of them, all 35 people, get 8 ounces. If each one gets 8 ounces, if I take 35 and multiply it by 8, I get a whole total of 280 ounces. So this is what I need all together. Now we want to use Sue's recipe and we want to find the unit rate. So again, when I see this word, I'm thinking a 1 in the denominator for the number of ounces in one part of the recipe. So I know I need 280 ounces of this recipe. When I look back at the page prior, I saw that Sue's recipe has a total of 7 parts. So those 7 parts have to give me the whole 280 ounces. So I'm going to set up a proportion, bring over my labels right away. And because it told me to find the unit rate, I know 1 has to go in the denominator. So now I'm going to figure out my unknown quantities. So again, here's the ratio where I know both parts. I'm going this way. I see I'm going from 7 down to 1, scaling down, so I'm using division. 7 divided by 7 is 1. 280 divided by 7 is 40. So there are 40 ounces in 1 part. So I'm just going to write that as a fraction. 40 ounces to 1 part. Okay, over here I'm going to do the same thing with Mary's recipe. We need to make a total of 280 ounces. But Mary's recipe, there was a total of 10 parts. So this 280 ounces has to be her 10 parts. And again, we're finding the unit rate. Bring over my labels. Unit rate means 1 in the denominator. Here's my unknown quantity. Here's the ratio where I know 2 numbers. I'm going this direction and I'm scaling down. It's division. 10 divided by 10 is 1. 280 divided by 10 is 28. So I get 28 ounces. So again, I'm going to write this 28 ounces is 1 part. Okay, so now to finally finish, because if I'm making this recipe, I still don't know how much of each lemonade and tea I need to add. So here's where we're going to find that. We're going to find the number of ounces of lemonade and tea that are needed for the beverage. So what I'm going to do is break this into 2. I'm going to do lemonade up here for both of them, and I'm going to do tea down here for both of them. So I'm going to start with my ratio here. There are 40 ounces in 1 part. Bring over my labels. And if I'm talking about the lemonade, if I look back at the other page, Sue for lemonade has 2 parts. So 2 parts has to match up right here. So here's my unknown quantity. So here's the ratio where I know both numbers. Going this way. It's getting larger, so I'm scaling up. That's multiplication. 1 times 2 is 2. 40 times 2 is 80. So 80 ounces is what I need of the lemonade. 80 ounces of lemonade. Now I'm going to do lemonade right away for Mary. So I have to take Mary's recipe. There's 28 ounces in 1 part. So set this up, ounces, parts. Go back And let's look at Mary's. Mary's lemonade is 3 parts. So by parts, put a 3. Here's my unknown. Here's the ratio I know both. Start there. I'm going to the right. It's going from 1 to 3. It's scaling up times 3. So if I take 28 times 3, I get 84 ounces. So we need 84 ounces of lemonade if we use her recipe. Okay, let's go back again to Sue's recipe. This time we're doing tea. So again, I need my unit rate. There's 40 ounces in 1 part. Bring over the labels. Look back at the prior page and let's figure out how many parts of tea. There are 5 parts of tea. So by parts, 5. Here's my unknown. I'm scaling up times 5. Scaling up times 5. 40 times 5 is 200 ounces. So we need 200 ounces of tea. Now these two together, remember we had determined up above that we need a total of 280 ounces. So this better add up to 280, and it does. 80 plus the 200, we have a total of 280 ounces. So it checks out. Okay, let's do the same for tea for Mary's recipe. So my unit rate again is 28 ounces in 1 part. Set it up, ounces, parts. Look back at the prior page to see for tea, she has 7 parts. So by parts, 7, scaling up times 7, scaling up times 7, 28 times 7 is 196 ounces. So she needs 196 ounces of tea. Now again, let's check these two. So 84 plus 196 is the 280 ounces total. So now when I look back at the beginning, first of all, what does this actually tell me? Every single part for Sue, so each one of these parts is 40 ounces. So I could write that in here. 40 ounces, 40 ounces, 40. So how many lemonade altogether does she have? 40 plus 40 is 80. Well, that's what we came up with. 40 5 times is 200. So for tea, she has 200. For lemonade, she has 80. And that's exactly what we came up with. So this is all checking out. And we do the same thing here. Mary, we came up with each part being 28 ounces. So I could go back to my picture, and in every one of these, I could put a 28 ounces. This is where a picture is a really nice way to understand your math. So here I can easily see 28 3 times. That gives me 84 ounces of lemonade. That's exactly what we came up with. There's 28 7 times, which gives me 196. That's what we came up with for the tea. So again, everything checks out.